Evan Thomas, your book deals mainly with President Eisenhower and his foreign policy achievements, but let's talk about the economy under Ike for a little bit. Was he a free markets guy?
He believed that you get real national security from a sound economy, so he was absolutely a free markets guy. He did preserve the New Deal. Some people wanted to just knock it down. He wanted to preserve it, but he was very much for balanced budgets, economic growth, and his economy thrived. The 1950s were, the economy was great.
Well, he helped lead America to victory in World War II, but he was wary of the so-called military-industrial complex. Has his fears been realized?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he fought it in his time. He actually reduced military spending. People don't think about this. Ike, the great general, he reduced military spending in the 50s, in the Cold War, because he knew the generals hyped the threat. I know those boys down at the Pentagon, because he'd been one. So he warned against it, and he would be shaking his head today to know about overspending on the military. He believed in a robust, believe me, a robust military establishment, but he knew when they were spending too much.
Well, that's defense spending. In terms of domestic spending, Ike was famous for the Interstate Highway Act, and we hear so much about shovel-ready projects in this current presidential campaign. So he was responsible for this huge amount of government spending. What do you think he would say about what's going on right now?
Well, it has to be useful government spending. I mean, the interstates were infrastructure that you have to have. He believed in long-term investments for the country's well-being, but not for mindless pork barrel. I mean, the highways had a purpose, a clear plan, everybody understood it. It wasn't just a little bit here and a little bit there. They
were also part of his military plan, though, right? Wasn't there a military aspect to the Interstate Highway Act?
It's the Cold War. It was paid for with defense spending. The idea was you had to be able to flee the cities in case of nuclear war. But Eisenhower understood the larger meaning of it was the country just needed a good transportation system. He'd seen the Autobahn. He learned on the job. He'd seen the Autobahn in Germany when he invaded Germany in 1944.
Well, right now it seems like there's quite a few parallels to what was happening during Eisenhower's administration, especially with regard to foreign policy. You have the potential for war right now in China over some small islands, and that happened during Eisenhower's administration with Kimoimatsu. And you also had the Egyptian problem conflagration during Eisenhower's term, and you're seeing that right now again. So do you think that today's candidates should be looking to Ike as opposed to Mitt looking to Reagan and Obama looking to Clinton?
Absolutely. I mean, Ike was a great foreign policy president. His central insight was that wars can get out of control. If you fight a war, go all the way. He was an all-or-nothing guy. He threatened, as my book says, Ike's bluff. I mean, he was bluffing with nuclear weapons. But the idea was do not get yourself into little wars. If you fight a war, fight to win all the way. That's a good lesson.
And with regard to all the gridlock right now in Congress, do you think because of his stature, he would be able to break through it? As opposed to right now, which it's just gridlock.
Absolutely. Ike could deal with, I mean, he was a Republican who dealt all the time with Southern Democrats. He was a nonpartisan guy. He didn't even like the idea party. He believed in getting things done, and the way you do that is negotiate with the other side.